All right, all right, all right. And this is another episode of To the Fullest with Jason Froberg. Today I have my good friend Jenn, who is out in Thailand in the middle of all this chaos and apocalypse. How are you doing, Jenn?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's pretty early. It's like 8:30 in the morning here in Thailand. I think we're 14 hours in the future, so living in the future is pretty rad. Yeah. I can tell you that quarantine doesn't get better in the future.
Damn. About 14 hours from now, Fox News would be saying you can all come out of your homes. President Trump made everything. What does he say? I don't even know. I don't pay enough attention to know.
Oh, man, I'm trying so hard not to. It's pretty crazy. Literally on the other side of the planet and just watching the country fucking burn, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's,
we're all burning it down for us.
Yeah, and I honestly can't think of a worse president that we've ever possibly had to be in charge during this situation. So, gives me the little bit of the sweats thinking about it, you know?
No, he's gonna magically make it all better, out of nowhere. You know?
Tots and pears. Tots and pears.
That's it. So how's Thailand during the quarantine?
It's pretty good. We've actually been playing like quarantine roulette, where we were originally in Cambodia and had plans to go to Indonesia after that, and then up through Egypt. I have a bunch of shows that were scheduled in Europe over the summer, but all the festivals are getting canceled and all that, and then quarantine started happening. So we were in Cambodia, and they started. Word started kind of getting out that if you didn't have this kind of visa, you may not be able to stay in the country. And so we went, well, shit, what's a country nearby that we know, we have friends, the medical and, stable infrastructure is available in case shit really goes down. So we came back to Thailand, but every single day, news is changing about whether or not we're going to be allowed to stay. So we don't want to go back to the States. We get an email every day from the State Department saying, foreign Americans, get your asses back here. And it's like, fuck you, man. We're going to stay as far away from there as possible. So it's now just playing the game of where can we go next based on visas expiring and borders closing and stuff like that. So it's interesting for sure. It's an interesting place to be during this whole thing.
Right. You got plenty of toilet paper out there?
Yeah, man. See, the Thais and most of Southeast Asia has figured out this beautiful thing called a bum gun, and it's just a little fucking hose hooked up with a little sprayer next to the toilet. Everybody has it, and you use that, and I don't know. I'm just a much happier person when I've got a sparkling clean butthole, and you just need a little toilet paper to dry yourself off, not to run through a roll of double plied Charmin. So, yeah, my butt's doing just fine out here.
Yeah, we've been talking about getting the bidet out here as well. We want to upgrade.
Do it, but I highly recommend that you, I read an experience on Reddit where somebody posted, okay, today I fucked up by setting up a bidet, got it from Amazon, was all about it, sprayed myself down, felt sparkling clean, went to the grocery store, my asshole started itching like crazy, I'm scratching. Finally, I run to the toilet, I can't figure out what's wrong, and I realized that my asshole is blue because the guy had run the line from his tank water that had one of those blue toilet water cleaners.
Damn.
So, to anyone out there thinking about installing a bum gun or a bidet, make sure you run either you're running it from your toilet tank water. Don't put the blue stuff in it.
Yeah.
Chemical.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's a great story. Glad it didn't happen to me.
Yeah, no shit. That's like when we, I don't know what the fuck happened, but we talked one of my younger brother's friends into putting some Icy Hot on his balls one time. And we just convinced him that it was awesome. And he was like, no, that's going to suck. And we're like, no, it's awesome. And then it's great. And then he goes to the bathroom and try it out. We just hear him screaming from the other side of the door. It's not awesome! You stupid fucker.
I had a friend who shall remain unnamed with some rather extreme sexual proclivities, which involved masturbating with different versions of Icy Hot and all that stuff, right? So extreme masochist. And at one point, I've got a really bad back, so I have all these different like super gnarly unguents and like ancient Chinese remedies that are super fire hot. And he came over one day and was like, "Hey man, you got that extra hot stuff that you used on your back? Can I try that?" And I was like, I knew what he was gonna do with it, and I was like, "Yeah, but bro, be careful. This is like chemical burn kind of shit, you know?" And later on, he called me and he was crying and he could not. The burn was too much, and he basically was running around trying to figure out what to do. And he was like, "I'm just going to jump in the shower." And I'm like, "No, dude, that's going to wash it everywhere."
Yeah.
So he dunked his junk into a glass of milk to try and neutralize it. Right? Yeah, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do?
If it works on bear maze.
Yeah, live and learn. Yeah, people are awesome.
That's fantastic. People are awesome. They're very interesting out there, you know. My last guest, we were talking about Tiger King. Have you seen the Tiger King yet? It's amazing.
Boy, have I.
People are incredible in this world. It's an incredible world we live in.
So, did Carol Baskin kill her husband?
Of course she fucking killed her husband. That goddamn bitch.
Did she feed him to the tigers?
Of course, she fucking covered him in sardine oil.
That video that he made cracks me up. Like I want that to be my ringtone. You know, that shit's hilarious. You can't make it up. That shit's hilarious. Truth really is stranger than fiction. You know.
Oh, he's a magical character. I am such a fan of Joe Exotic. That guy's amazing. Amazing. You know, his music videos, his YouTube stuff, like, oh, God.
Oh, I haven't even dove into the rabbit hole of his music video, of his YouTube stuff, but I gotta say, like, personally, I think anybody who keeps animals, especially fucking large exotic animals, is a fucking asshole and deserves to die. So I'm pretty glad he's gonna rot in prison. Just because I don't think that zoos or anything like that, you know, at least I'll give Carol Baskin this. She's a fucking flaming cunt that definitely fed her husband to the tigers. But at least she was trying to rescue cats as opposed to, you know, in the end, she was trying to rescue them. Obviously, in the beginning, she was a breeder and all that. But anybody who breeds animals for profit, fuck them. So
yeah, well, I mean, they were saying that she was breeding them for profit at the end too. She's just a lying bitch. She was just like saying it's an animal rescue, and she's just making cats. Trying to take everyone else's fucking zoos away from them. She wants all the business. That show blew my goddamn mind.
Me too. I had people messaging me. They were like, "Dude, have you watched it yet?" And I'm like, "No, I'll get to it." And they're like, "No, you don't understand. Like, you need this in your life right fucking now." And they were right. My friends were right, as always.
It was a gift for everybody for the coronavirus. You know, we all had to suffer through this fucking bullshit. And they're like, well, at least we can give them some Tiger King.
Right. Tiger King. They were holding that one in the pocket. They're like, man, we can't release this when there's like, you know, tons of good new media out there. We got to wait until the moment. And then they dropped it hard, for sure.
Proper release time. I heard a new one came out today, so there might be some new episode of, like, I don't know, Joe Exotic in prison, or the trial of Carol Baskins.
The trial of Carol Baskins. People are gonna follow this for the rest of their lives. You know that now. Like, we feel so connected to these people. Like, I want to know all about the Doc Antle sex cult. You know, where you have to get a boob job and work for free, and, you know, suck on the tiger strength, you know, like, that's a fucking story I want to hear about.
Dude, and that whole documentary was so batshit crazy. They took 2 seconds to fucking talk about that, and then just kept on trucking because they're like, we got too much crazy to cover here, people. The fucking tiger sex cult is not that important because look at this shit over here.
Right.
You know, I was just like, God damn, this is amazing. Diving into the depths of fucking depravity.
Truly, yeah. I'm gonna be attached to those people for the rest of my life, whether I like it or not. So, thanks, Netflix.
Oh yeah. the fucking meth and tigers, man. You know, I mean, who doesn't love meth and tigers? That shit's ridiculous.
Hey man, I saw a meme the other day that showed a picture of the Thundercats, and it was like, hey, obviously this shows Tiger King on Netflix shows that this is your guys' first time watching a gay sex tiger cult, you know, documentary, because, you know, Thundercats, ho!
I love that.
That was good shit.
That's fucking great. That's great. Fucking A, man. So, yeah. Before all the shit went down, you were out there touring around. You guys do any cool shows? Any cool fire dances? Any, I know you went to one of these crazy piercing festivals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've, so I've been living out of my suitcase now for 6 years. 6 years ago, I sold everything and rented out my house in Vegas and have literally, I got a really bad back. I don't know if I'm going to end up in a wheelchair tomorrow or in 10 years. So I'm trying to travel as hard and as weird and as far as I can get in the meantime. And in the meantime, I've done some amazing shit. I've been diving with great hammerheads. I became an assistant scuba instructor. I've just been seeing some incredible shit. And one of the things I've always wanted to see is the vegetarian festival that's held in Phuket, Thailand, which is where I'm at right now. And it's an incredible experience, man. I'll show you a picture of some of these guys. They literally go into trance and will have, I'm trying to see something like, okay, no bullshit. They've got a spike about this long that comes down to a pretty needle sharp point, and they push it through the cheek, make a hole, sometimes this big, you know, 2 to 3 inches. They pull that out, and then they place decorative items inside the piercings. So if you're, say, a boat captain, you'll put an anchor in your face. If you own a gas station, you have hand-tooled gas pumps that go through the holes in your face. But a lot of these guys will just have swords. Like, there were guys that had 6 swords through the holes on their cheeks. And some people will just do a ton of cheek spears to the point where there's literally no more mouth to fill with spears. And it was an incredible experience. My husband and I have been here for it twice. First year, we just kind of checked it out, and we're trying to stay on the periphery because we didn't want to be the asshole foreigners that are, you know, getting themselves, pushing themselves into the situation. You know, like, we just wanted to let these people do this incredible thing and try and watch it, because as we both used to be body piercers, this is fascinating, you know? And the second year that we came back, the main temple, the oldest temple here in town called Bang Niao, actually kind of brought us in. And so last year, my husband, they're all monks that are getting pierced and doing the piercings. My husband, who's not a monk, but was brought in by these guys, actually became one of 5 to 10 Westerners that was allowed to pierce a monk while he was in trance.
Oh, wow.
So, then it's a men's temple, so my husband and our friend that had brought us in actually walked in procession carrying a prayer flag with a guy that had a metal bar through his face this big while he's in trance and blessing everybody walking throughout town and stuff. So yeah, absolutely incredible. Look up the Vegetarian Phuket Festival, and just the images are going to blow your fucking mind. They can't even come close. We're putting together a couple videos of kind of our travel logs and crazy shit that we've been doing, and we're currently editing together some footage because we got some access that I don't think many Westerners have ever had, where we've actually been allowed to be involved to a certain extent in the process. As a woman, I can't pierce because it's a men's temple, but we're definitely going to be sharing some really cool footage of shit that just, even being there, watching it, you go, wait, did that really? It's craziness. These guys take these giant spikes, and sometimes they wear gloves, sometimes they don't. But they'll do this, giant piercing, lubricate it with some vegetable oil, But if they run out of vegetable oil, they'll lubricate it with lemon oil.
Oh, doesn't sound like a good idea. That sounds like that stings a little.
But just a little bit. But what's incredible is, as a body piercer and as somebody who practices body suspension, right, hanging people from hooks in different configurations, right, I know people that can go into a pretty deep trance, and for them it's a very ritual experience to do a suspension, and so they take massive piercings. Even when they're meditating heavily, you still see a reaction in the body. You still see, the pupils dilate when the piercing happens or something. And we, humans are capable of so much more than we give ourselves credit for. And, suspension's a beautiful way to show that to yourself, is that, yeah, man, you can do this. You can overcome limits that you think you have. But you still see people react. But during the vegetarian festival, watching these monks, one of the most fascinating things is these guys, they don't flinch. Their eyes don't dilate. They go into trance. They become possessed by one of their gods. And from that moment forward, they're not bleeding. They're having these, massive, massive piercings. They don't bleed. At the end of it, they take the stuff out. They sit on the side of the road, swig some water, put some steri strips across the wounds, and that's it. They go back to the temple, release the god, and, they're beat to shit the next day. They're sore because the god's no longer there holding them. But yeah, it's incredible, man, to see the breadth of the human experience and see some of these rituals. We don't have anything like this anymore in our culture, where people do really extreme things in a large communal way that involve pain. So yeah, the Vegetarian Festival, man, cannot recommend looking it up enough. If you're squeamish, man, hold on to your seat, because it is fucking ruthless.
Oh, I love it. I gotta go. That sounds like so much fun. But yeah, you're right. Our culture just strays away from pain super fast. We do not want anything to do with anything that's going to hurt, even in the slightest, in the United States. And I don't know what it's doing, but it can't be good. Well, people used to be a lot freaking tougher.
I think pain is not optional. Suffering is.
I like that.
We're all going to be encountering pain mentally, physically, emotionally throughout our entire lives. And it's just kind of how you frame it. If it's something that if you stub your toe in the middle of the night, that sucks. There's not a whole hell of a lot you can learn from that. But, women giving birth, obviously that's pain that has a sincere purpose, and they're willing to go through that in order to, have the child to become a mother, So I think that we really, not just as Americans, but as Westerners, we've turned away from pain. We've turned away from rituals that put you into manhood or womanhood or anything like that. So I think a lot of people have become more interested in creating their own rituals, because what's our fucking ritual to become a man? Oh, you went to senior prom. What
is
the fuck
it really?
is that?
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm fascinated by, and something that while I'm traveling, I'm constantly looking at the different rituals that people do and how they cope with the pain or suffering of life. I was able to go this last year to Malaysia for the Thaipusam festival it's just outside of Kuala Lumpur. There's a set of caves there that are dedicated to Lord Murugan. And there's this incredibly large statue there and an incredible shrine inside the caves. And it's 272 steps up. And we were able, there was a Hindu priest of Kali Ma that through some friends of mine, it's totally fucking Indiana Jones, Om Shakti Kali Ma. But he allowed us to walk in procession with him, and we did some piercings, and we basically, the Thaipusam is you bear some weight as a form of offering to your god. So some people just carry something heavy just as a reminder, you know, that, hey, we need to bear weight and then give it away. And some people will wear these super elaborate, they're called, kavadi is the name of the offering, but they'll wear these huge, massive things that are probably, they've got to be 7 feet tall and weigh probably about 100 pounds, if not more, that are all lit up and beautiful with peacock feathers for Lord Murugan and everything else, and they're dancing for hours. Some people have a bunch of hooks in their back that they're being pulled on for hours. So we went, and the Kali priest actually pierced us. Like, we did cheek spears, I did my throat, forehead, we did some larger hooks in our back, and we're pulling against each other. And basically, this community welcomed us with open arms, and we went in procession with them, and dancing, going into trance, crazy drums happening all over the place. You know, I think there was something like 30,000 people at the festival this year. And we walked up the 272 steps and then took out our piercings, and that was our offerings. You know, we had made like little debarbed fish hooks and attached flowers and limes and things like that, put them in our bodies, and then when we got to the top, we gave those offerings and took out the piercings. The pain was our offering to Lord Murugan. And holy shit, what an incredible experience, you know? We get, like, yeah, and it's again, it's something that, being kind of a student of I don't know, not just body modification, but, you know, the modern primitivism and the different rituals that we put into place and stuff like that. Being a cultural, archaeological nerd, being able to actually be involved in these processions and be involved with what the people are doing has been incredible. So again, that's something else we're going to make a vlog about, because we've got footage that is just mind-blowing. Even thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. So
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, we're doing some really cool stuff. But in the meantime, of course, we're sitting in Phuket, which is beautiful. It's like 85 degrees. Here, I'll see. I'm at a nice house with a garden, nice compound, and we got food delivery. We got a nice big fat puppy that hangs around the house that we get to hang out with. So we're doing good over here.
I'm such a sucker for puppies. So what's on the diet out in Thailand right now? What are you guys eating regularly?
I've actually gone, I've gone vegan. So we've been, thankfully here in Thailand, it's really easy because they have a form of cultural veganism. And the symbol is that.
Okay.
So basically, if you show that to anybody, if you show that to anyone in a restaurant, that basically means no animal products, nothing like that, because for them it's a suffering issue, actually. You know, that as a form of Buddhism, they don't want to cause suffering to any animals. So they are able to just say, hey, I'm Jay, which is what the J-A-I is, the religion. Okay. And it's really easy to get vegan food here. So we're still eating green curry and all the gnarliness. We're just eating green curry tofu, or, you know, stuff with mock meats. During the vegetarian festival, actually, the almost the entire town goes vegan, and for 10 days, no alcohol, no sex, no bad thoughts, no meat, no animal products, and no drugs or anything like that. And you go in white. And so you'll see people all across, almost all the restaurants will go, or at least have a lot of vegan offerings. And then lining the streets near the temples where these piercings happen are these incredible stalls where they make fake fried chicken that, like, I bit into it and I wanted to cry a little bit because it was so fucking perfect. It was like better than KFC shit, you know? And they make vegan everything during the vegetarian festival. So yeah, specifically during that time, it's a walk in the park. But even now, it's easy. We go to the grocery store, we buy mock meats, got fake duck, you know, whatever the fuck you want. It's available. You want some vegan sea cucumber? We got you covered. So it's actually very, very easy here in Thailand.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's cool.
I dig that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Well, it looks like the other thing we got going on over here, we have a trailer lined up for you on a new show you're doing. What do you got going on with this?
So a few years ago, I filmed 2 different DVDs. One was called How to Make Your Show Awesome, and you'll appreciate this. It's basically a series of videos for performers that want to become more professional and make themselves, better. So I don't necessarily tell the person how to be a dancer or how to be a sideshow performer or how to be a musician, but I talk about what you need to do, what the conversation you need to have with your sound guy ahead of time so that the sound guy has everything he needs to make your show awesome. How to talk to your lighting guy, how to use your space, and when to start talking about contracts and insurance, and basically just presuming you're already a performer and you just want to make your show more awesome. So I did that DVD, and I'm going to be releasing that soon. But the trailer that you've got is How to Perform with Fire.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So it's essentially, it assumes you're already spinning poi or fire eating or have fire as some part of your performance practice, but you want to take it to the next level. And so we talk about safety and different types of fuels and different props that are available, and just all the things that I really wish somebody would have taught me back in the day, try to pass on the knowledge now that I'm slowly trying to semi-retire from performing. So yeah, check out the trailer. It's pretty good.
What we got going.
Hey everybody, and welcome to How to Perform with Fire.
Now there's a storm on the horizon, black in the slowly setting sun. Now there's a fire in the jailhouse. Everybody run. Everybody run. Now let me pose a valid question.
Nice. Yeah, that was awesome. I love the fire dancing stuff.
Yeah, me too. I've been a nerd for it for a long time. Unfortunately, I do have to give a caveat that website is not actually up currently because we've been having some issues here in Thailand with getting some stuff done. But if you check my stuff out on Facebook or Instagram or any of that, I will be publishing links as soon as I have the official website up. But I think I'm gonna probably just start. Originally I was gonna sell them as physical DVDs. Nobody has those anymore, and I think I might just release the footage and not really sell it. I'm not sure exactly the format of distribution at this point, because originally I thought, I can put up a website, maybe people pay for the digital downloads, because I've got stuff in there, like a safety checklist, a toolkit checklist, first aid checklist, all this stuff. And I think at this point the information just needs to be out there, like I'll put a Patreon account up or something. But yeah, that's what I've been working on, is figuring out a way to distribute that, get it to people who want it. Ideally make something back off of my investment from it, just because it did cost me some money to produce it. But at this point, I think it's more about disseminating awesome information and keeping people safe than it is about trying to get rich, as you know.
Yeah. You can always play the game I'm playing. I'm going after those YouTube dollars, So you just got to get like 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched minutes, and then you're onto the advertising game with them. Then you can start making a little bit of money. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem like a lot to me, but then again, it's like, well, how many views do you got to get, to really start making some money? I don't know. I'll find out. But
Sure.
But yeah, I'm just going after that advertising revenue, and you never know. It could make a little bit of money, maybe a lot of bit of money.
Yeah,
I know a lot of
maybe a lot of it.
Some people make a lot of it.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, we've got some friends in Bangkok that have an amazing show where white guy from Albany, New York, and a Thai local, Thai national. And the white guy's been living in Bangkok for how many years? 15 something years, I think. And they have an awesome YouTube channel where they go around and travel throughout and look at different vegetarian stuff, different vegan options, and they're just hilarious. And they're YouTube stars, and they're making some money off of it, and they're living their awesome life in Bangkok and sharing, you know, basically how to be gay and have a fucking awesome time doing it in Bangkok. And it's not just in Bangkok, that's where they're based. They go all around the world, but you know, they're doing what they want to do. I think that's the key, is that not necessarily I'm going to do something to make money. It's I want to do something that I fucking love, and then people will see that and they connect to that. And if that's something that they also love, sure, you know. I think there's always an audience as long as you're authentic. You know, you're not just like, so I really love fire performing. You should give me your money. You know, like nobody connects with that, but if you're into it legitimately, I think people that are also into it legitimately will find you and support your shit.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. You know, we're just going to try to have fun, and we're going to make some fun, stupid videos, and we can keep putting a podcast out every single Monday. Just keep it regular and just try to stay, you know, like I have that one mission a week, you know, got to get that podcast out. And then we try to, we're going to try to do some really fun, dumb stuff that we've been writing, which is actually, it's been funner than I expected, some of the things that have come out of it. So
I can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to shoot it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I got to get out there and check out Thailand, and
you got to check out food everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to say it, like, my mental health skyrocketed up into the fucking atmospheric once I started traveling. You know, I was performing, and I would go and tour for a couple months, come home for a couple months, tour for a couple months, come home. And then I just thought about it and went, you know what? I can see my friends. I have amazing friends in Vegas. You know, I grew up there and have a wonderful fucking family of amazing people doing amazing shit, yourself included, you know? And I got deep roots there, but I also, there's a wide world to explore. And so, you know, from French Polynesia to almost getting burned at the stake in Honduras for being a witch, for performing a fire show, like, you name it, man. I've had some crazy ass adventures, and couldn't be happier doing it. You know, of course, travel has its stress, but I can't urge, especially once the quarantine is over, if you don't have your passport, apply for it now. Get your ass out there, see the world, because it changes everything for the better, I think.
Yeah, I was in the middle of planning a trip to Peru. We were going to go out there and have a little ceremony of sorts on the river.
I have had a ceremony of sorts here in Thailand.
Ooh.
And it was fucking incredible, and I can't recommend it enough. It's 10 years of therapy in 10 hours, for sure.
Nice.
And yeah, I have definitely, my lust for the psychedelics has not decreased with age. I'll say that.
No, I don't see why they would. It makes life so fantastic. Yeah.
Well, and they're tools, you know? Like, fucking, we got one life, one body, one brain, one mind. Get in there and fucking tinker, you know? Figure out what the fuck's in there. What are we doing? What's the fucking point? What's up, you know? And if there's any other input that you can get from either, you know, pushing your own limits mentally, physically, emotionally, you know, fucking do it. Why not? What do you got to lose besides some fear? Fuck it.
Yeah, I agree 110%. I always like to, you know, take some of my friends who haven't experienced that and show them the way. They come out of it, like you said, it's a lot of therapy really fast, and they just can't. They don't have enough good things to say about a psychedelic experience. You know, you always walk away with something like super valuable from that. You know, good trip, bad trip. It's like you're learning, you're growing, and
Exactly.
you check in with yourself. You know,
Yeah.
there's all these things that occur in the middle of all that just make you, you know, stronger and a better person and kinder person, you know, more caring
Yeah.
person. I grow all the time when I'm messing around with my brain like that.
I think
It's
that's
a
kind
lot
of
of
the point,
fun.
you know, get to know yourself and the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, it's all a matter, like I said, of just reframing how you relate to it in yourself. So, yeah, gimme just all of
Big
it. I want it
time.
all.
You and
We,
me, we're gonna have to have a little bit of fun whenever you get back into the States. I got some great stuff you'll
Yeah.
love, I'm sure. We'll have
I'm,
we're gonna have a big party or something when you come back.
Yeah. And you know what? We're all fucking self-isolators and social distancers at certain points in our lives. This is just like enforcing it a little bit more hardcore than maybe most people are comfortable with. But I'm thinking in the future, people are going to hopefully really appreciate, you know, friendships a lot more and connections and keeping the fucking conduit open, you know, like not closing yourself off and sitting behind your fucking phone all the time and just, you know, obviously right now we're isolated, but I think I know I'm going to be super fucking grateful when I can go out and hug my friends again, you know. It's going to be fucking great.
Yeah, they're the most important people in the world. Like your friends and your family, they're irreplaceable members of your life that they just make everything great. You know, it sucks whenever they're not around, and I miss the fuck out of my friends and my fucking
Yeah.
family. You know, but yeah, quarantine. You know, hopefully we all get through this and the apocalypse ends early. I don't know how that works.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if
Oh.
the U.S. closed its fucking borders and, you know, started taking care of people and really protecting healthcare workers instead of fucking being in bidding wars, that might be a good positive first step, in my opinion.
Yeah, but then how are a bunch of fucking greedy fuckers supposed to make billions of dollars off the suffering of the entire planet? You know, they gotta
Right. I
get their
forgot about
cut.
that.
You know, that's the
Yeah.
important part. That's what really matters.
How could we possibly forget that?
Everybody's got to make that profit. You know, second
Right.
quarter's got to still have that positive number at the end of it somehow.
Yeah, with the positive 7-8 figure number for sure.
Oh, these motherfuckers! And just sell every one of us out for a nickel.
Yep. But it's all right. We'll make it through it. Hopefully, there's gonna, you know, through all this shit, there's gonna be a lot of changes. I don't think shit's ever gonna be the same again. And I hope that the changes, at least some of them, are positive enough to push us in a more progressive direction for sure.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It seems like it can't just go back to the way it was before all this went down. Like, you know, like there's got to be some kind of social construct that we gain out of this, where people just realize what's important, you know, and we start really making that happen and voting for the right people that are going to put that shit together for us. You know, we got shit to do. It's not like
Here's
it's going to get
hoping.
any easier when the robots start doing all the work for us. You know?
Yeah, dude. I for one welcome our robot overlords. You know, I could use a new titanium Cyberman body. I'd be stoked with that shit. But yeah, it's the post-capitalism, post-modern era, post-postmodern era. It's a really fucking interesting time to be alive, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I can recommend a book by. Are you familiar with Cory Doctorow?
No, but I love reading.
So he used to run a website called Boing Boing, and I think he still does. I think it's still up, but he's basically kind of like a near futurist who's constantly studying all the different technologies and how they're going to affect us socially and everything else. And he wrote a book called Walk Away, and it is so fucking good. It's a near future, very positive visualization of where we might actually go and how we might actually be able to come out of this mess and, you know, use people's abilities and no longer think about work but think about making.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful book, man. I read it probably a year ago and I still think about it once a week. It's that good. So
I have one
definitely
for you as
recommend
well.
checking it out.
Was it Paul Diamandis from? He's Ray Kurzweil's buddy in the Singularity University, but
Yeah.
he wrote a book called Abundance, and also another book called Bold, which is really great. But it's also the same thing where he talks about all the great things that are already happening in our world. It's like nothing's made up. It's like these are just real things that are already happening, and that as they grow, they're going to make life just so much better for us on this planet if we can just get there just a little bit further,
Right.
you know, without fucking setting the whole thing on fire. Then it's just
Yeah.
gonna be amazing, man. You know, but
What's his name again?
it's Diamandis, Diamindis.
Got it.
Yeah, and he's got this great book called Abundance. So with that one,
I've seen this. The future is better than you think.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
it's a real positive look on things, and you know, it's all based in reality. It's not stipulation or speculation or anything. It's literally all this shit that already exists.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really liked him, and of course, everybody. I don't know if everybody fucking knows, but I'm sure they will by the time I'm done with this podcast. Right? I love Kurzweil. Kurzweil's amazing,
Yeah.
and like you're saying, you're hoping for the robot body. That guy takes it a step further, and you know, starts talking about all the amazing shit. The singularity is near, where we'll be transferring possibly our entire consciousness into robot bodies.
Absolutely.
And as soon as
And the
2045, he says.
Yeah.
Who
And
knows?
the fact that we're starting to understand things from a quantum paradigm as opposed to an Einsteinian paradigm, where the more people understand that the observer changes what is being observed, like holy shit, man, it means that really reality is what we create. We create our own reality, and therefore it's our responsibility to create something awesome.
Yeah.
And that's not just some fucking hippie bullshit. It's science with a capital S, motherfucker. So I'm a big fan of Kurzweil's as well, and I agree with you. If we can just get that little bit closer and just fucking hold on, man, like
Yeah.
like a fucking kitty motivational poster, hang in there. We'll fucking make it, man. And if not, it's cool. We've had a pretty good run, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I like to bring up when we talk about like aliens and shit. People that are committed to the alien thing, and it's like maybe all these planets, all these billions of stars, look at, there's a puppy.
That's
I love
Rocky.
Puppy. Rocky. The dogs are saving everyone's lives right now, and the cats, of course. I know this is the internet. We got to get shout out for the cats too, but our puppy's saving our life over here. We love our puppy so much. But yeah, I always bring that one up. It's like, what if intelligent civilizations just always build themselves up to this peak point and then collapse in on it? And it's like they never leave. Nothing ever becomes interplanetary because it's just this cycle that happens with, when you leave carbon alone for 5 billion years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and who knows? There's nothing to say that our consciousnesses won't be something that go out in the ether and maybe never interact. They just, our consciousness is uploaded and goes out in the ether, and it doesn't become a future civilization. It doesn't become something more. We become something more, but not necessarily civilization. Maybe civilization is what we need to outgrow and just become fucking energy.
Yeah, well, that is that's the alternate, right? That's the Type 3 civilization. That
right.
Yeah, where we just become energy beings. I like that part. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, dude, that'd be pretty sweet. Again, at this point, I'd settle for a giant robot spider body with my brain in a jar in the middle so that I can go diving, I can climb mountains. Because I gotta tell you, man, I've had 9 fucking back surgeries, and I'm beat to shit. So, like, holding on another 25 years to reach that point, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be a grumpy bitch by then. Like, I hope I keep this fucking bag of meat going that long,
Right, and it's and it'll be that slow process too of replacing you with mechanical parts, 3D printed parts that are grown with your stem cells on them that match you and don't reject, You know, there's all that kind of shit that's coming real fucking fast. You know,
I had a morphine pump with a catheter that went into my spinal cord for 14 years. And after that, I had a spinal cord stimulator implanted in my spinal cord with 2 leads that went up my spinal cord and a fucking iPod that had an app on it that I could stimulate different areas of my nervous system to try to cancel out the pain signals coming from my legs and back because it's so fucked. Unfortunately, the stimulator didn't work out for me. I wasn't a good candidate. I had to have it removed. But yeah, dude, I'm all about. I've been cyborgian a couple times over. Used to have 2 pounds of titanium in my back. You know, like, bring it on.
And the doctors and the engineers that come up with that kind of shit, man, those guys are amazing. You know, there's some incredibly intelligent humans on the planet that just do incredibly wondrous things for, the future of human life. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens when these guys finish this. The artificial general intelligence. That's gonna really be interesting. I'm excited about that, and I believe a lot of people have been dumping quite a bit of money into a general AI. So I'd imagine we'll be having one at least within the next decade, and that's supposed to change a lot of things.
Yeah.
So who knows what the fuck's gonna happen? We have, that if that just pops up out of nowhere, and it will just start designing all kinds of crazy shit. And then there's this a jump in the exponential growth. Who fucking knows, man? Who knows where we're gonna be at soon?
Well, and that's why I feel like it's kind of my ethical responsibility that I'm in a position where I can travel as much as I can right now and connect with as many different kinds of people and learn as much about the human culture in general, because whatever comes next, it's going to be something that I don't know that we can necessarily frame it very well in our current paradigm. So I want to soak up as much juju and awesomeness as I possibly can for whatever comes next, and try to share it with people that maybe are at home on quarantine, or maybe, are bedbound because of, injuries or disabilities or something like that. So that's one of the reasons I've really started making it kind of a personal crusade to share my shit and not just go out and do all the awesome things, but share all the awesome things I do, because I've been fortunate enough to do some pretty cool shit in my life. I want to share it.
That shit's awesome. All the I've personally been following a lot of your adventures on social media for the past 6 years, and it is it's pretty inspiring as well. Yeah, like me and my friends want to go out and do like a whitewater river rafting trip, go do some fucking mountain climbing and shit. We actually climbed a mountain. We spent 2 days like climbing up, backpacking, and we had tents in our bags, and we just fucking climbed up, slept in a cave,
awesome,
put a little fucking piece of paper on our tongue and had a good time for the rest of the night. And
beautiful.
it was a really good time, man. It's probably one of the most memorable things we've done in a really long time. And just going out in nature and getting up the side of a fucking hill, just fucking pitching a tent. It's just not that complicated, but it's you connect to nature, and once you're up there sleeping in it and shit, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, and that's scuba diving's done that for me, because physically I'm pretty limited on, I can't do a lot of hiking. I can't do a lot of the like heavy. I mean, I still do a bunch of stupid shit, don't get me wrong, and I push myself really hard. But in reality, for me, I'm trying to push my limits as a diver and to go and see some of these incredible creatures while we can, like the oceans are fucking dying, man. And it's been breathtaking in both a positive and a negative way to go to certain dive sites, 10 or 7 years apart, and to see like, wow, 7 years ago there was so much fish life, the coral was so abundant, there were sharks everywhere. Come back 7 years later and it's bleached out and completely dead, So I also, as a scuba diver, want to see as much as I can while we can. I got to swim 3 feet away from a great hammerhead shark for like 3 minutes, and it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. You know, I've never been an outdoorsy type of person. And growing up in Vegas, it's not like you go out in the desert and encounter fucking bears or moose or anything like that, you know? So for me to be that close to an apex predator was just mind-boggling. And he was just checking me out. He swam next to me for like 3 minutes, long enough that I had time to pull out my GoPro, remember all my training to not like hyperventilate and freak out and be so excited, because I wasn't scared.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared. There was a moment where I went, well, you know what? If this is how I die, you know, in getting eaten by a fucking, or getting a bite and bleeding out in French Polynesia, swimming with the great hammerhead shark, man, that's a good end for me, you know?
Everybody's got to have
But
one.
I was able to, yeah, I pulled out my GoPro, man. I sat there and counted his teeth, and he was just checking me out and swam next to me for like 3 minutes and then just off into the deep, you know?
That's so cool.
That's been my version of connecting with nature as much as possible, you know?
Nice. Yeah, when I was in Cabo, I went snorkeling. It wasn't scuba diving. I wish I was scuba diving, but no, I paid a boat captain or whatever. I don't know. The guy just had a fucking speedboat, but you know, he took me out to the coral reef, as it were, and I jumped in and did some snorkeling out there. It was kind of sad, you know. It's a lot of dead coral, a lot of algae covering the coral, and they're like, you see all that shit moving around? It's like, it's algae, bro. Yeah, that's not live coral, but we did get to go spend 6 hours driving in a van one way to go see a great white the whale shark.
Oh, did you see a whale shark?
Yeah,
awesome.
We jumped in with a whale shark and chased it for a little while. It just fucking booked it when we jumped into the water. So, but I got a little bit of GoPro footage. I had my GoPro on me, and I could see we could see the whale shark. It was pretty cool, man. There's a pod of dolphins too, but they split as well. The second you jump in the water, you go out snorkeling trying to swim with these things, and they just split.
Well, and that's where scuba diving gets really interesting, you know, because the creatures, when you're down in the water with them, are much more curious.
Yeah.
And I've had dolphins swim up to me, and this is such a crazy experience, man. I was diving in French Polynesia, and there's an area where it's like a 600-kilometer lagoon out into the ocean with a really narrow pass. So every day when the tides come in and out, that water is booking. So there's tons of fish life, and you know, that's where all the action happening for the sharks, for the eagle rays, for all the big pelagic stuff from deep in the ocean, and then all the little stuff. And you know, like getting to, the guy goes, oh man, so on one dive I saw 4 different kinds of sharks. I saw sailfish, I saw turtles, I saw rays, basically all the big ones, you know? And the guy had told me, he goes, man, normally every day at this time, the dolphins come and kind of play with us, and we don't feed them, we don't train them, they're curious, right? I dove this place for 2 weeks and never saw a dolphin. I could hear them, I could hear the clicking, and I would look around super excited. But lo and behold, one of my last dives, the guy had told me, he goes, look, these dolphins love to play. So if they start spinning and like doing turns, you have to do the same thing, because otherwise you're just a boring lump of something. But if you start playing, they'll keep going. So he goes, and I got to tell you, if a dolphin comes up to you vertically, you know, parallel to you, stick your fingers underneath its flippers and you'll feel its heartbeat, and you give them a little tickle and they love it. And I'm like, okay, hold up phone. Number one, as a diver, the number one law is you never touch anything. You know, you never touch anything underwater. You are a guest in their environment. Stay the fuck out of it. You know,
it's a dolphin. It's like a alien species. You know, they're so smart.
For real. So I thought this guy was kind of exaggerating about this story, but sure shit, one of my last dives there, the dolphins come up. And they start doing circles, so I'm like flipping around like a total jackass trying to play with them, you know, and just florping out. And the dolphin came up and got vertical to me, and just as I was about to put my hands up, you know, I couldn't do it.
Oh.
But because to me it was like, okay, you know what? I don't want this dude. He's hanging out with me. He's enjoying his time. I don't need to touch him.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't need to. I don't know. My head alter. I don't know. I don't want to touch the things. I want the things to be awesome in their environment. I don't want to alter their environment by my engagement with them. Being down there and diving with them is like already such a fucking thing to be grateful for. It's like so special that, you know, of course I want to put a dolphin in my fucking pocket and bring him home and be like, dude, this is the craziest thing in the whole wide world. But, you know, I got to play with dolphins underwater in a completely unrestrained environment. It's not some fucking dolphin park where you jump in, you know, with some poor bastard that's been, you know, I say caged, but I don't know what the term is for water cages, you know, that's been encased. So, yeah, man. That was one of the first things my friend posted when the quarantine. Somebody was like, has somebody gone and checked if the dolphins have left yet? You know, because so long and thanks for all the fish. The Douglas Adams thing there was just a little too close to home, you know?
I know. I've lived here for so long, and I won't go give them money for those captive dolphins. I love I can't contribute money to that shit, man. It's just, it's like dolphins. There's, like we were saying earlier, like big cats. Fucking monkey. You can't. Fuck, those things are smart as shit, man. We're not that much smarter than those things, you know, like those.
No, we don't deserve to have that type of arrogance, you know, like it's just fucking speciesism on a very blatant, brutal fucking level. And I think if we could alter the way that we view our natural surroundings, plants, animals, fuck it, minerals, you know,
Buddhism
I think
describes minerals as a living entity as well, you know. It's the universe. The universe is one, and it's all part of you.
Everything deserves respect.
Yeah, it does though. It definitely does. It always makes me sad. I love going to zoos. But like, the big cat stuff really bothers me. I've switched it up. We just go to aquariums now, and we.
Well, and to me, that's just as bad.
Yeah,
they're just as bad because those animals, like sharks, roam thousands of miles naturally. You know, their migration patterns are the fucking entire ocean. You know, seeing where great whites that have been tagged, the distances that they go. I don't care how much your current is set up in that aquarium. It's not the same, and I've gotten to the point I've become a little fucking hard-edged on this, you know, that not only will I not, you know, I'll vote with my dollars, so to speak, and I won't go and see any animals in captivity, but I actively try and seek out sanctuaries and donate money and try and get involved wherever we travel. We try and foster animals or go into local rescues and try and help out, or just even donate money if we've got it, you know? So here in Thailand, there's a big problem with elephant riding. You know, everybody wants to have a picture on the elephant. And, you know, there's a couple really good sanctuaries here that actually you can go and hang out with the elephants. You can give them a bath. You can help them rub mud on them, and you can scrub them in their big fucking regular pond. But they're basically you know, animals that were in circuses or were in these elephant riding camps or teak logging and shit like that. And they're either injured or too old or something like that, and they need a place to live out their lives. So I forget the name of the place. I'll send you a link of it. But, you know, I'd much rather take a fucking bath with an elephant than ride it anyway. You know?
Way cooler.
Like,
it's way cooler.
Why not? Definitely. So, yeah, I think an adjustment in our perspective on, you know, hey, maybe we shouldn't be eating wildlife. It might help stop these fucking viruses from spreading, you know? I'm very happy that there's permanent wildlife bans now on, you know, in China and other places on eating wildlife. And maybe eventually that will spread to domestic animals, and we'd actually be making smarter decisions about what we're doing to the world by choosing what we eat, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. Yeah. Indeed, my friend.
That's awesome. So, yeah. Fucking solid hour podcast.
Fucking
been
A.
good talking to you. It's been good talking. I've tried to keep them shorter. People have been bitching about going long. I went 2 hours with Jerry, and everyone's like, 2 fucking hours, man. Jesus Christ.
Right.
But
well, let's cut it up.
Yeah, and I wanna get back together with you soon and talk more about your travels and all the cool shit you've been up to. And
Absolutely.
and one more time, you want to name the websites and the little projects you're doing, and then I'll make sure to post what's going on in the descriptions and everything.
Right now, the easiest place to find me is on Facebook, Jenn O Cide, JENN, capital O, periods, CIDE, and on Instagram, that's Genocide13. And I'm going to be putting up a couple different websites. I have genocide.com currently, but I think I'm going to be switching over to some more live streaming and YouTube stuff. So I will be posting links there as I develop the best methods of distribution, as I work all this out on how to share the crazy fucking experiences I've been having in my life.
That's awesome. I love that so much. I'm trying to copy that, the same thing too. We're doing the To the Fullest thing, so I'm trying to, do like all kinds of adventurous shit and include it on the podcast and film it all and then bring the people in and talk to them about it if I can get away with it. We'll see what we can make happen. But yeah, well, thank you so much for being on here, Jen, and don't go anywhere. I wanted to talk to you about that other thing you were talking about earlier, but probably don't want to go too deep into that on air. But yeah, Genocide, you're amazing. Thank you so much, and we'll have you back on again for sure.
See you soon.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching my podcast. You can check out more podcasts right here and subscribe by clicking right here. We are a new podcast every Monday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.